Dealing with difficult people is one of the most important skills you can master in life. It's easy to interact with pleasant and positive folks, but we also encounter their opposites, and your ability to communicate with them determines the scale and strength of your personality. This video will teach you how to handle difficult people and take control of any situation. We'll get help from writer Tracy and the ancient Roman emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius. Give it a like or dislike if you look like that, and let's get started. So, who are these difficult people? They're people with problems, angry or upset individuals. In the worst case, they're the ones who want to use you for their own purposes. According to Tracy, the first step is simple. Take a deep breath, be patient, calm down, don't let other people's negativity affect you, set your boundaries, take an imaginary step back, and just smile. Sometimes the best thing you can do when dealing with difficult people is to stay silent, not fan the flames, and if you find yourself in an argument, just take a time out, smile, and say nothing. And then, when you do start speaking, remember the most important communication tool: questions. The person who asks questions controls the conversation. In negative situations, don't try to win. Just ask questions like, "Why are you saying that? That's an interesting viewpoint. How did you arrive at it?" Or, "Where did you get the idea that what you're saying is true? And do you have any evidence for it?" Instead of attacking the person, ask them questions. Be like a matador in a bull ring, avoiding clashes with the bull, asking questions with genuine curiosity. Be curious about why this person is behaving this way and what they're thinking and feeling. In some cases, you'll find they have a good reason. In others, there was a misunderstanding, or the person has a complicated problem in their life. In any case, remain calm, patient, control the conversation, and ask questions. Those were the tips from writer Tracy. But what does the famous Stoic Marcus Aurelius think about this? Marcus Aurelius was the Roman emperor from 161 to 180 AD. In his life, he adhered to the principles of Stoicism, which emphasized prudence in action, self-restraint, and respect. Thanks to his surviving diary entries, we know how Marcus Aurelius dealt with difficult people in his life. Let's highlight 5 key points. Clearly set your expectations. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, 'The people I deal with today will be ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, envious, and unsociable.'" Stoic philosophy suggests seeing people as they are, not as we wish them to be. Each morning, Marcus Aurelius practiced negative visualization. He imagined encountering unpleasant people that day and prepared himself for it. Imagine this situation. You're at work, everything's fine, and suddenly your boss appears and starts yelling at you in front of your colleagues, allegedly because you made some mistake. In that moment, you'd likely feel shame, loss of motivation, and anger. Now picture the same scenario, but before that, a coworker warned you that the boss was in a foul mood. In that case, you'd work more attentively, and even if the boss still found something to yell about, you'd be ready for it, and it wouldn't have such a devastating effect. Your expectations greatly influence your emotions, so regularly reminding yourself that difficult people could cross your path at any time will help you deal with them more easily. Also, know your sore spots and avoid topics that could lead to emotional pain. Before any interaction with a complicated person, mentally list the subjects that are difficult for you and try to avoid them, change the subject, or deflect if the other person veers too close to an emotionally charged area for you. Let it go. As Marcus Aurelius said, the best revenge is not to be like that. If your reaction to rudeness or insults is similar, you're just justifying your opponent's behavior. Marcus Aurelius suggests not stooping to their level but rising above it with virtue and logic. But despite all our preparation, things may not go as we expect. We rarely control everything that happens to us and around us, just as none of us can control traffic jams, illnesses, and other events. The same goes for people. They're unpredictable. At any moment, we may encounter a difficult person who insults us publicly or undermines us at work. We can't control them, yet we still allow them to affect us long after the incident is over. We think about what they said for a whole day, or a week, or longer, and often fantasize about revenge. But according to Stoic philosophy, revenge will do you more harm than good. It's important to learn not to take things too personally. We actually did a separate video on how to do that. The problem isn't you, it's those people. All you can control is your reaction to their behavior. The next time you're insulted, for example, think, does this person's opinion really matter to you? What consequences will there be if they keep calling you an unpleasant name? The only possible consequences are in your head, which means you can control them. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to control the urge to retaliate against an insult and simply let the situation go. The third rule is to remember our common humanity. As Marcus Aurelius said, we were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes, like the two rows of upper and lower teeth. To obstruct each other is unnatural. To feel anger at someone, to turn your back on them, is a form of opposition. Fundamentally, people are alike. We all experience pain, encounter illness, and face death. But we are social beings who need each other. So it's important to approach people with kindness and compassion. Marcus Aurelius advises not viewing the actions of difficult people as directed at you personally. Their poor behavior stems from ignorance. They act that way because they lack the knowledge you have. But we too can be ignorant at times. Think about how often you've intentionally caused someone else pain. Upon reflection, you'll realize that difficult people also often unintentionally cause you inconvenience and suffering. The fourth rule is to take action. Don't waste more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. Another Marcus Aurelius quote, "People are more readily persuaded by reasons they themselves discover than by those that enter their minds as the sayings of others." We often complain about our relationships with certain people, yet do nothing about it. We wait for the other person to take the initiative, but inaction will only worsen the situation. Instead of talking about each other, you need to talk to each other. Don't tell others how to act. Act how you want others to act. Express your virtues through your behavior, thus inspiring those around you. The fifth rule is to overcome envy. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we find happiness within ourselves, not in attaining what others have. When we envy, we hand over our happiness to other people. Social media certainly doesn't help here. We see the highlights of other people's lives and get the sense that everyone around us is living better than we are. An old but effective piece of advice: compare yourself not to others, but to your former self. And finally, if it seems like you're surrounded only by difficult and irritating people, chances are you're the difficult one. Subscribe to our channel.